and welcome to the 2b2tea podcast. I am one of the three hosts, Hardboiledmegs, and along with Lukent and Godroster, we started this podcast to interview and talk with some of the most interesting, fun, exciting, and controversial players to grace our good Christian Minecraft server. I guess as introductions go, I'll start. I'm Meg, and I do a couple things on the server, like SBA, Spawn Masons, Avalonia, Outlast, and the Wedding Planners. But I'm also a very, very prolific hunter, which people forget about, I think. I used to stream as well, but now I'm just a viewer in other folks' streams. Obviously, since I don't have enough going on, I'm excited to start this podcast with my friends and have a chance to hang out and yap really about people's history and why they play. It's way more interesting than my story personally, so this is a great medium for that. And I'll let my beautiful co-hosts introduce themselves now.
Hey guys, I'm Godroster, and I've been playing on the 2B server since the middle of 2022, which isn't long enough for validation, but certainly long enough for me to know better. I'm a founding member of the Waterway Union. It's the group that built the Southern Canal and continues to maintain it to this day. I'm also a founding member of the Silver Lining. It's the main group for 2b2tea players that are older, as in elderly. And I do streaming on Twitch. I do mainly 2b2tea stuff. And I enjoy long walks on the beach under starry skies, saying everything while saying nothing at all.
I'm lukent. You may know me from my chat LARPing endeavors. When I'm not in chat, I'm a full-time anarchy player. Some lesser known things that I do is I lead a group called Dawnfear, and we sometimes build interior list spaces. I'm also a member of some amazing groups such as the Vape Pens Elite Alliance, Wedding Planners, and the Collective. So enough about me. Let's get right into the pod.
We want to welcome our very first guest ever. He's been one of the biggest 2B streamers since his start in July of 2021, with a total of 7.3k followers on Twitch and 3.7k followers on YouTube, streaming his stash hunting almost daily. Beyond that, he was a leader in SBA and is currently a leader and founder of the prolific hunting group, The Journeymen. And I think that you can also find him around FartClan these days. Beyond amassing a cult following on Twitch that demands he eat ants and stream with the sock on his mic, Paul has found some of the largest bases on the server and has also started some bases of his own, such as Muddy Golem 1, Muddy Golem 2, Muddy Golem 3, River Dick, and The Lump. And we're so happy to have him here. Thank you so much for being our first guest on the podcast. And everybody, welcome Paulsteve. Woo!
Insane budget.
Okay, my cat's on my desk. 1 sec.
If we could please include cat pics, like that would make me so happy.
We need it
Do you still have both?
Okay, I'm back.
Do you still have both cats?
Barely.
Barely?
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I'm about to put them both in the wood chipper at this point.
Okay. All right.
They're great, and I love them. But
what are their names?
I have 2 cats. I have one that he's white, but he's technically a flame point Siamese, and so that means he's half orange, half Siamese, which means he's all evil, and his name is Moogle.
Oh wow, yeah.
Moogle.
And then I have Marley Bones, and she's a super chill tabby.
Okay, got the duality.
Yeah, they're like yin and yang. That's awesome.
Well, I suppose I'll start with the easiest question to take off the table here. How long have you been hunting?
Let's see here. Well, when I first joined the server, hunting was not really on my radar at all as a thing. I just wanted to kind of see the sights and sounds of the server and I guess just explore. And only after I think I discovered Ranch did I develop an interest in base hunting at all.
Okay.
huge shout out to Ranch. Everything I've ever found, I will just give to Ranch right now. He's the king.
So like whenever you started, how long do you think you went from like playing normally to being like, I kind of want to get into hunting?
So let's see. It was like mid-October 2020 when I joined, and at that point I just went. I spent a lot of time around spawn because I did the classic escape spawn, go like 100k, dug myself a hole in the ground, and then got bored because then it was like the single player with chat type concept. I
Right.
didn't know anybody at that point, so I
Uh-huh.
just came back to spawn. And that is where I met a guy named Population 101. He's come in and out of the server ever since then, but through him, I got to become a part of a group called OPU, Overworld Players United, and I can get into all the lore of that group and stuff. That's also where I met Pasto. Shout out to Pasto.
Oh,
Yeah, so
shout
he was
out
my
Pasto.
first. He's my first 2B friend that's still around and active. And at that point, I was like, I wasn't base hunting yet, but I wanted to make a name for myself. And so I invented the Holy Church 69 around that time period. And so I started like going to all the coordinates with 69s at them, like leaving OPU signs.
Okay.
And I was like
Oh, nice.
repping the group enough to the point where another player named Mr. D or Mr. Douchebag, I don't know if I can say that.
Yes.
He
I swear.
He's also known as Fire Radis, and on Discord he does like some rusher support still. But he was part of OPU, and this was back during the auto dupe time period. So like the follow-up dupe after the pyro dupe. And so I was gullible enough to accept this dupe exploit from Mr. D back in the day, and so I got the schematic. I learned how to build schematica. I set it up, and I'm like, no way, this is gonna work. Like, I'm just gonna wake up tomorrow, my whole bank account is gonna be gone because this is 2b2tea.
Yeah.
But by way of that, I started like duping. I maybe duped like 50 dubs, some kits that were just like cobblestone. I didn't know what PvP was, and so like it was like the worst kits imaginable that you could. I can get into more detail on all that bit, but so I wasn't really hunting or anything at that point. It was only until I climbed the ranks of that group, founded my own base, kind of attached to that group, and then when it got griefed, I decided to live at spawn, and then at spawn is where I met players like Dan Ducky and Bryce Day, and that was kind of like the foundation of SBA. But it was only after that that it seemed especially profitable because I'd given away all my dubs prior to that because I just thought that dupes were a given on 2B. I didn't know that was going to be the last dupe to ever grace this server, like legit shulker dupe. And so I was poor and we were making spawn bases. And so I'm like, you know what? Might as well just fly around and see if I can gather resources and materials to make more spawn bases. And so that's kind of like the foundation of when I started hunting. I don't know, maybe like mid 2021.
All right. That actually answered a lot more than I was expecting, but I'm
Yeah,
very
I kind of
glad
went
that
on
you
a
got
thing
into
there.
that.
But
It was great.
I would like to get into more detail about the like OPU and like the old
The
days.
mic is yours.
Paulsteve.
Yeah, please.
Okay,
Well,
so
what does OPU stand for again?
Overworld Players United. And
That's so
this
SBA pilled almost. It's like, you know what I mean? Like
this like lore. I just want to say first off, straight off the bat, I think it's really cool. And again, I'm super thankful to be here, be a part of this whole project with you guys. And I'm just stoked to have a platform to really just lay down the truth of the lore. You know, one time for the one time, because I go through bits and pieces of these stories on stream, but
Yeah.
anyways, so I appreciate that, y'all. OPU, Overworld Players United, was a overworld highway group, and we made ring roads at like 2K from 0-0, and that's just what we did. None of us were PvPers. In fact, it was mostly just like Mr. D carrying us all on his back with his knowledge of exploits and stuff. And then our poster child owner was a dude named Blunts420, who was just like a stoner streamer guy who streamed 2b2tea sometimes.
Incredible.
420.
Yeah. So there's those people. Posto, Population Who Added Me to Group. Somebody named Chatty Laddie, who has recently come back to the server recently. And then who's that other guy? Tal, call me Tal, who's also returned, and I don't know if they're still in SBA.
That's the same guy. Yeah, we love Tal. That's crazy. That was like, oh.
That was it. Damn. That was the whole group, really. And during our escapades of OPU, one day we just all woke up and the server was nuked. It was gone. And we were like, what's going on? What's going on? People were messaging each other, trying to gather information. And it turned out, apparently, allegedly, Chatty Laddie's IRL friends logged into his laptop and deleted the 2b2tea servers that he was a part of because they believed that 2b2tea was ruining Chatty Laddie's real life. That was like the story. That's the story. And most
Dude,
of us
they had an intervention for him.
Yeah, that was the story. But most of us were pretty skeptical. We were thinking, okay, Chatty Laddie probably just had an episode and lost it and just decided to delete the server. That's kind of what I believe, but that's not the main story. Now, that happened, and at the time, Mr. D owned a 2b2tea shop. I think it was just called, quote unquote, just another 2b2tea shop. I think that's like the name of it. And so we all kind of like gathered there as refugees, and he made a specific channel for our group, OPU, and then we were just kind of like camping out in this shop server, but in one specific channel, and that was like our highway group. And so
in a shop server.
In a shop server. I felt like it was a cool like undercover LARP situation.
Yeah.
Like I was rocking with it. I wasn't upset. And I was still brand new to 2B, and so I was really determined in my mind, like in my headspace about how toxic 2B is.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I just have to take it all in strides, and you know, it's just all gonna be evil. And so I was cool with it. I liked this whole story arc. But then as we were camping out in this shop server, another group comes along called Laughing Coffins Guild, LCG. And LCG, it refers to, I think, is it like Sword Art Online or Soul Eater? It refers to some anime group. But the leader of that group was named Zinko Drone. And I think a lot of old school players, like not that old school, but 2020 players will remember that name. But his time on the server was relatively short-lived. And kid was a squeaker. Probably not anymore. He's really grown up. But so he comes along to Blunts, the original owner of OPU, and is like, hey, you know, we heard about your server getting nuked, and we're looking to recruit some new people. What do you say, like, all of your members come over to my group and we can just work together and you can still do your highway stuff? And Blunts agrees. And so we all just joined this new server, Laughing Coffin Guild. And bro it was like tyrannical. in there. Like
Really?
this squeaker kid was very much like ruling with an iron fist in
1984, yes,
on the
sir.
Discord. And it was really interesting. Can you guys hear my cat meowing, by the way?
We heard
Yeah.
that.
It's so
It was a
cute.
great cameo.
Awesome. He stresses me out. Anyways, that happened, and everybody was kind of on the same page that like we didn't really rock with this Laughing Coffin Guild leader dude, Zinco Drone. But we did like this new server that we were in overall. And I think through some conversation here and there, I wasn't really a part of all this. He gave one of the OPU members like admin role in the server, and that person ended up banning Zinco Drone and rebranding the group into TSA. That's what it was called, TSA. So Zinco Drone was out.
Like a mutiny.
The group was renamed to TSA, and that is the name that that server still has to this day. I'm still in it.
He never got
Oh.
it back?
Nope.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it
Like
was a full on
TC
mutiny
Maxx.
Like
situation.
full coup
Oh my
mutiny.
Which I don't
Damn.
That's
I don't totally
awesome.
understand how that worked, but
Yeah.
I was just eating popcorn the whole time. I thought it was cool. So at that point, I had really been trying super hard to like rep the group. I named like some of my kits OPU brand stuff. And Blunts really appreciated my effort in that group, even though I was relatively new. And so that's when he started giving me roles. And so now I'm like one of the owners of the group, which is it's just a dead server
Yeah.
at this point. But I also want to give a shout out to Yoink 2b2tea. Not in the mix anymore either, as far as I know. But he was another one of the leaders of that group, and a like big origin story part of my experience was when we griefed Space Valk in with Pasto. It was just me, Pasto, and Yoink, and we griefed the rebuild of Space Valk. I was brand new. I didn't even know what it was, and it's the rebuild, so the cores are like what 400 by 2000 or
Yeah.
something. And that is Paulsteve's first bit of evidence on the internet at all, because Yoink like recorded us griefing that thing, and then he put it on YouTube being like OPU on top. So that was
We
kind
gotta
of
find
fun.
that.
Jack the
I
Ripper
like
fans coming for you.
it's like and it wasn't rebuilt by Jack the Ripper. It was some dude named like
Oh.
French Eagle or something. I don't know.
Oh, I've heard of him. I've heard of him.
Yeah. So I guess to just put a bow on this thing and tie it up. Once I had climbed the ranks in that group and I founded my own base, I like invited some IRLs. Oh man, so many old names, so many like players that are long gone now were part of that base, and it was really cool. And the coordinates were negative 420, 690 by 69,420.
I love it.
And
Yeah.
we just lived there. I made a giant obsidian castle, and eventually got found. The people who found it actually tried to extort us for like in-game wealth, and we didn't have a whole lot because they already like stole the items that we had at that base. And so then they tried to sell the coordinates of the base on eBay. And we discovered that our base boards
Oh.
were on eBay, or that like this screenshots of our base were on eBay. So then we self-griefed it, and that was the end of that thing. That's when I started living at spawn. I made my little spawn base at negative 420 and negative 69, which is still there. I mean, covered in cobblestone, but it's just a big obsidian pillar. It's still there. And then one day as I was working on it, I decided to take a little field trip to 0-0. And I noticed it was done up really nicely. It was holed out with emerald blocks lining it and stuff. And I was like, ooh, someone's been working here. And that's when I got pulled up on by Dan Ducky, who was working on it.
Ugh.
And then
Oh, okay.
All right.
Dan Ducky messaged their other friend that was there, Bryce Day, and they pulled up along with a guy named Kingsit. It's like Kings XXT, aka Hyde. He's not around anymore. And I think X Gamer. I think that was like the 4 people that I met at 00 that day. And I was like, hey guys, I have a base right here. You want to look at it? I showed them -420, -69. They thought it was great. We lived there for a bit. And that's when we decided to make a Discord in case we ever find a new dupe. And that Discord then evolved into SBA, which is still active to this day.
Wow.
Kidding.
That's a lot of lore. That's a big Paulsteve lore drop. Do you still talk to any of the like friends that you first met?
Mm,
Like before like Ducky, like in the OSP,
right.
PS,
shit.
shit.
OPU.
OP, fuck.
Not
Just look at
taking
my
notes,
OBS.
clearly.
Sorry.
OBS, profile, studio. Anyways.
Shit. Stop streaming.
Just Pasto. Really.
Really?
I mean,
Yeah.
this actually, surprisingly, this past week, a random account was messaging me. Let me open up my Discord because they DM'd me on Discord, and I could get the name because it matched their IGN.
You have a really good memory to just conjure up all those names.
That was going to be my next point. Like an annotated.
It's like those are like my like core memory people, right?
Yeah.
And so like between then and now, obviously it's so much harder to memorize everybody's names. Okay, I can't figure out this dude's name, but it was Chatty Laddie. It was Chatty Laddie on a new account, and they were like,
Oh.
"OMG, Paul Steve, do you remember me? Do you remember Yoink, Pasto, Blunts?" And he starts naming off like all the OGs, and I'm like, "Bro, are you kidding me? Of course I remember you. What's going on? Like I've been here." And he was just like really enjoying the thought of the old days. Ooh, okay, last thing, very last thing. Really cool thing. The very first base that I was ever invited to, the OPU recruit base is still intact today.
Really?
Oh shit! Really? How old is that now?
It's not even that far, but it existed before I even joined the server. So like mid 2020, and there's some fresh signs there. All of the OGs that used to live there still have signs there.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm super stoked on that. When that gets griefed, I'll probably go on like a big evil killing spree or something.
That's crazy.
Have
'Cause
to.
what year would that have been?
I think the group was relatively new by the time I joined it, so it probably just
Like
came
2020?
into existence. Yeah, mid 2020. I can only assume.
An intact 5-year-old base.
Wow.
Yeah, it's in a sweet spot, just tucked away real nice, like.
Have people found it, or I don't know how
Yeah.
often you go back there.
Yeah, people have found it, and it's like
Really?
close enough to where on days when I'm feeling really LARP, I'm sure that some of you guys can relate to this. One of my favorite things to do on 2b when I'm not base hunting and when 0-0 is kind of dead is I just like take off my armor, pose as a brand new player. I find another brand new player and I escape spawn with them. And just to like let them be the leader, kind of like support them on their way out. But it's just like a fun, creative endeavor to see like what like decisions people make. But there have been a couple times actually where we end up going down the highway that recruit base is on, and I become fond of them enough to bring them along to that base, and it hasn't been griefed from one of those excursions yet. So
That's cool.
That's really
yeah,
wholesome.
it's special. It's cool.
I guess. I'm gonna unfortunately shackle you back to hunting. I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's fine.
So
I'm happy I got that little lore bit out of the way.
It was great, honestly. Like I don't know what I was expecting whenever you said like you had a bit of lore, but like that was a great monologue. Genuinely,
That's like pre-lore, because then there's like all the SBA lore, you know. That's
Oh,
a
we'll
whole
get into
other batch
that.
of stories.
yeah. I don't want to get
Cool.
too much into that because Meg has an entire category on that.
Yay!
But so whenever you first started hunting, I I don't know what it was like in 2020 because I joined in 2021, but I I don't think there's too many like big travel exploits. Where I mean, there was Donkey Fly. I know in 2021 there's like boat flight. Like, how
Yeah.
has that changed?
So it, as far as really good travel exploits go, they come in and out just like any other exploit on the server. Nowadays, I feel like we have been in one of the longest droughts of a really good one. As far as I know, most people are just pitch 40ing around because it's a stable AFK travel method. And part of that is due to the fact that chunks load differently nowadays too. And so we kind of have to resort to a slower travel method for that reason as well. But in 2020, I remember there was a packet e-fly. And the way that worked is you'd have to set it up kind of particularly. You'd have to like stand on the block because you couldn't change Y level. And so that's why you see a lot of really high up towers on old
Oh
1.12
yeah.
trails.
Yeah.
It's probably because of packet flight because they couldn't go up or down.
Yeah.
So they just build as high as they can and just send it. And the fun part about that is it would start really slow and then it would just slowly barrel up speed until you're just like going 700 plus kmh or whatever. You couldn't really churn much either on that either, similar to the big fly that came a few years later. But yeah, I think I did that some, but mostly just firework travel back in the day too, because I was still new, and so I wasn't in any loops for the most part of people that knew those things. So
What do you think of like how like exploits now really like enable hunting? Because you've got spiraling, you've got the pitch 40, you've got the AFK like trail follower. And like compared to like the old days where you were building a tower up and kind of just winging it in a straight fucking line, you couldn't really turn. Like so much has changed. Like what is that like now, having like progressed through all the different stages of travel?
well,
And like hunting in general, like just the technology's advanced so much with the new versions, I feel like.
in my mind, the advancement of base hunting tech has kind of been a result of disparity and like the lack of dupes on the server. And so people have, dude, I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It's hilarious.
I'm
Is that your
opening my
cat?
door.
Casting
Yeah, he's
credit.
pissed. He's pissed because I took him out of my bedroom. Let me let him back in. Sorry.
He's like, it sounds
I thought that was a
a
child.
child wailing.
It was a child.
Oh, no.
Don't cut that out, by the way. Please don't cut that out.
Yeah. There's like so much that I'm already like, we have to cut it here. That's hilarious.
Okay. So,
Are we just gonna smooth past that?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's back on my desk walking around.
Oh.
No, it
It's
didn't
fine.
take long.
Now, because of the lack of dupes since 2020, it has made the general population of the server become more poor, and you can't really like start big building groups if you don't have hunters in the mix. Oh, my cat's driving me crazy. I'm so sorry, y'all.
It's
Hi,
okay.
Moogle. Now, I think that base hunting has also become a bit more sensational since 2020. So back when I first started, the only base hunting content creator like consistent was Ranch, and nowadays you got a bunch of hunters on Twitch, people making base hunting compilation videos on YouTube, and I mean there probably were others before Ranch that I'm unaware of, but he really like founded that, and I kind of like just jumped on that wave, and I probably have a hand in like sensationalizing base hunting as well. So the combination of all of those things has created an environment where people are more inclined to develop base hunting modules. So like things like auto portal and spiraling and auto trail follower, those were all ideas that we had back in the early days of hunting, but there was just no coders that were motivated enough to make stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the result of it today is a really mudded server. Everybody is, oh my goodness, he's doing front flips in front of my monitor. All right, I'm gonna cuddle with him now. Hi, Mookie. I'm so sorry. This is so unprofessional.
It's absolutely fine. I will ask for a Moogle picture for us to overlay during this section, just so that
yay!
you know.
We can do that. Now, it also has made base hunting have like a lower threshold, like a gateway to it. There used to be a lot of gate kept tech with base hunting. You know, like I feel like gatekeeping on the server overall was much more prevalent back in the day versus nowadays. And so everyone and their mother can get access to Jeff Mod and all of these really fancy base hunting tools.
Yeah.
And they can just, any rich kid can log on, get prio on a bunch of accounts, and just spiral, and get so much data. And it cooks a lot of trails. And so it makes a lot of trails seem already hunted, even if it's not like an adept hunter. Maybe they didn't find whatever's at the end of the trail. I don't know. The whole base hunting scene is just super saturated now with the amount of players in combination with a bunch of AFK tech.
Do you think that's better or worse? I'd assume worse, but like, I don't know. To some extent, I don't know. I'd say I'm like in the building scene. I'm not really a good builder personally, but like more builders, I feel like that's great because more people to get into the groups. I love looking at these cool bases. I don't know. Does that transfer over to hunting?
Not at all. It is
Really? Okay.
It is way more of a competitive scene. And so there'll be like base hunting groups, like, you know, Journeymen and CGI is one of our really like tight knit friend groups. Maybe even our sister group. Maybe I can say that. And so like we can work together as far as like oh, I'm on this trail really far out and it's like super messy. Have any of you guys hunted this before? And somebody like Corbin or Swisher might be like, oh yeah, I've been there. Here's my map data. And so you can kind of work together in that way, but generally it's a really competitive scene. And that also kind of bleeds into streaming culture to the degree of like I have to gatekeep things when I'm on stream, whether it's like information about exploits, obviously my location, that's a given, but a whole lot of things. And I think that is a really interesting contingency with 2b2tea streaming compared to any other type of streaming, because usually you're just like being really transparent with your viewers, being like, oh, I'm doing this and this goes like this and da da da. I don't know. So that's a really strange dance I have to do on my streams. To answer your question, long story short, it's just bad. It's just bad to have a whole lot of activity. It makes trails harder to hunt. And like you might think that is kind of good because it like deters other people from hunting, but it doesn't really. People are going to be hunting anyway because there's not a whole lot of other ways to accrue wealth on the server.
I find it like interesting. Sorry to interject, but I find it interesting, like with the come up of like, I'm just gonna steal your point with Hunters Union and like versus like, because I'm in Journeyman and CGI, and like I understand like the working together aspect, but when you get something like Hunters Union where it's just, in my opinion, posting for clout, like you're spiraling to find something to post to get recognized. It just doesn't feel like there's like an art to hunting like there used to be. Like anybody can buy 8 accounts and fucking spiral and post 4 posts in Hunters Union and call it a day, and then they're like a big hunter.
That is
You know
so
what I
true.
mean?
The politics of base hunting, that's a really interesting point that you bring up, because the Hunters Union is proud of the amount of members that they have, and I
Right.
think at one point it breached 1,000. I don't know if that's like how many of those players are active or whatever, but it's kind of a testament to what that whole server is all about, and it idealizes the stash hunting aspect of base hunting in particular, which is a drastic difference from, let's say, old school hunters like Mac Tonight, Courier 6, 4 Pilot. Those people were specifically looking for history, and it was much more of a I don't know, it's much more of a artful idea for them versus base hunting nowadays, which is like all of these people in Hunters Union type deal.
Like I feel like I like Hunters Union and I like to see like the stuff people find, but it feels very different to me, and I'm like new. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like the hunting culture shifted.
Yeah. And as far as like another thing that the Hunters Union have achieved is really publicizing all of these automated AFK methods of base hunting. You know, Jeff Mod is like the number one thing that anybody in that server uses, and that has auto portal, it has auto trail follower, spiral, all those things, which I don't know. Back in the day, that would not be the case. It would have been way more gate kept for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'll just bring up the most cliche. You know, what's your most exciting find, biggest stash? Like,
Okay.
what do you think is like, I don't know, your magnum opus or something like that?
So, there are a couple things I want to say. One is so the Glowski stash is my biggest public find that I found on stream at such an early time period of my streaming career too. And so I just looked like a dork with my shitty haircut and like trying to have like a normal voice, and I was just like way too in my head at that time period, which I think a lot of like early streamers have to go through anyway to kind of just like develop their comfortability. But it was such an early time like period of my streaming career when I found that. But that at that time, that was my big hit. You know, Bobbers had found that Fluff Bucket 1K dub and Foreskin 2.6K dub, something like that. And so I really just wanted a big hit, and that was
How much was it?
It was
700
the Glowski
dubs,
stash.
huh?
Yeah, it was about 800 dubs. But a lot of it were illegals that I could unstack too, which I got a good bit extra.
Did you find that on stream?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
remember that one.
I kind of want to say I remember, but I don't know if I. When was that?
When was that? Maybe.
I thought it was like early 2023.
That's probably right.
If so, then yeah, I do remember that.
You got me into hunting for 2 weeks by that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I am forever grateful that I was able to show that off on stream. And that stash was the coordinate. So the coordinates of that stash, mega stash, illegals, 800 dubs. It was literally 500K by 100K.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. That's not chunk dupe. That's definitely chunk dupe.
It was crazy chunk dupe tech, and the only reason I was able to find it is because of Lambda radar.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we're talking about the history of clients that have come along on 2B since my time around, when I first came along, obviously Impact is like the trademark first thing that you get. And then there was always the Rusher and Future combo, $20 each. But as far as other free clients go, there was Kona's client. And then what was the client that Lambda was based on?
Tommy Blue.
Kami
Blue,
Blue.
yeah.
Kami Blue. Lambda was
Cammy, I can see.
essentially like just shout out Cammy something. But Lambda was basically just like Kami Blue, but it had radar, which like took the chunk loading overlay that you'd normally see like on the ground, those red squares, and it put it into like a little map thing in the top right, which was the first time that was ever a thing.
That was revolutionary.
That was revolutionary. And what made it so particularly cool is you could see how the chunks load. Instead of just like trying to keep an eye out on the trail, you'd see how they load, and that enabled you to see really old, really skinny trails that people thought didn't leave a trail behind. So I was following one of those off of the highway in the overworld, and it led me to that glowski stash. So that was really cool.
Wow.
Okay.
You know, you should talk about Interdimensional Bridge, no?
Yeah, I can get into that. I can get into that too. That wasn't my find. That was Durka.
Durka, yeah.
Oh, I always get confused between
Rookie.
like who found it. Was you or Durka?
No, but that was.
Didn't you grief it? Was that not the? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
But
get
for
into
a
that.
purpose.
Oh yeah, that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing. But my other favorite find, as far as like on the flip side from dupe stashes and stuff, was Baron Dome's End Nexus. I was the first person to find that Baron Dome base.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and that was so special. That thing was only like maybe 200k, 300k, but it was in the end. And yeah, I remember just traveling along some super thick trails, and I just see a glimpse of green at the corner of my eye to the right, and it was some grass. And I'm like, okay, that's something. What are we looking at here? And I landed, and it was a sign in the middle that said, "Welcome to Baron Dome's End Nexus 2017." And it was on signs with like bold colored text, so you knew it was like really old. And there were still illegals there on top of like, I don't know if any of you guys had seen the videos that he made. I don't know if they're still public at this point. I know
He
that
republicized them.
Yeah. They're back out now on this
Okay,
channel.
cool. Well, you'll be able to go back and see like his pet Endermite, which was named Bitey. He was still there, and like his tools that he would use. I don't know. It was just so cool. But the coolest thing from there were 2 books he had hung up. One from they're both copies of originals. Maybe the only copies of originals that are out there. I don't know. One was a personal book to Baron Dome from Ant Venom, and the other one was a personal book to him from Edika's account, but it was postmortem.
Wow.
Postmortem.
It was a postmortem account. I don't know. Like somebody must have had access to the login.
Yeah.
But it was still special to see that he had those there.
That's crazy.
Since both those finds, I have found a couple other bigger things that I have not yet made public.
An exclusive?
Mm.
So you're just getting a teaser today. I'm not going public quite yet, but that all I'll say is that I found 2 more stashes that were a good bit bigger than the glowski stash.
No way.
Both in 2024. And that was my best hunting year. So stay tuned in that department. That's all I'll say about that.
Wait, and so they're not you didn't find them on stream?
Didn't find them on stream, and nobody knows that I found them.
Not even JM, or you tell the boys? You gotta tell the boys.
Maybe a couple boys.
That's crazy. So is there gonna be a did you take the stashes?
Probably.
Let's go. You're gonna make a video?
Probably.
Probably.
Someday.
Steve, can you confirm or deny that you sold Turban Stash?
No, that was 2025. That was 2025 anyway.
That's true.
The turban stash that you're talking about, was it another stash?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I've heard rumors here and there about people finding it, but I don't know who found that one. I was hoping it was like a Magnum because that was like the fake sign that was left behind there. I have my own like conspiracies about that. But always
It's
love a good
like,
heist.
yeah, people have been, there's been whispers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
but it's just it's a funny one because there's no public confirmation, so it makes me laugh to people like, I found a big stash. I'm like, you sold Herman's stash. He's gonna kill you.
Yeah, I
He's
know.
No more
banned off
voices
the
in the
archive.
archive. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
But
You got some to add?
you brought up the interdimensional bridge. Do you want me to talk about that for a minute?
Yes. Yes.
So, I mean, I'm gonna try to go through this and maybe give a couple new points that you haven't already heard from the Fast Vincent video. Huge shout out to
Please.
Fast Vincent.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just regular SBA night in VC. Durka was base hunting in the end on a boat, and he finds the interdimensional bridge. And he didn't find the interdimensional bridge at first. He just found the little like tower on the side, which had the stash inside of it. And I don't know if you guys are like, I don't know if that part of the build is even included in the world download on the archive. It's probably
I
just like a
don't
couple
think
hundred
so.
blocks off to the side, but it was like a big tower with the stash bits on the inside. So he found that first. And so he was happy to be streaming in SBA with cords on. He's like, we're eating good tonight, boys. We found a stash. Let's go. This is awesome. And then after like circling around that area for 1 minute, he pulls up on the actual interdimensional bridge and he gets quiet. He gulps. Because at that point he knew that this was something way more than what it seemed like it was at first. And then once somebody in the VC recognized that it was the interdimensional bridge, they like screamed it out. They were like, "Oh, I've seen this. This is on Reddit. This is the #1 upvoted thing on Reddit on 2b2tea. This is the craziest thing ever." And immediately you hear somebody leave VC.
Oh.
And we were like, "Who was that? Who was that?" Oh, it was the new guy. The new guy was just in here. And it was like some new guy that Durka knew from 9B. I forget the kid's name. But he basically immediately went to try to like sell out the cords of this location. And he found people who wanted the cords. He gave them to Moonshine, as they had like a history of beef with SBA. For those who don't know, Moonshine is like a Russian Ukrainian PvP group, like half shop owners nowadays, owned by like Coomerman, Pocky Boy, and the likes. So yeah, they end up pulling up really fast after we kind of already took a lot of the items. And we have a little skirmish. But the entire time that they like pulled up and things were getting moved and it was kind of some drama, I had an account logged out there the entire time because I brought 2 out because I was like, okay, as long as this build is here, I want to live here. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my whole life. This is just gorgeous. I want to live here. And so that's why I had a whole other account out there in the first place. And then I think it was the next day at this point. We're in SBA VC playing around some more, and we see Crowbar die in chat, and we were like, haven't is that normal? Is that a thing that just like happens, or is something going down right now? And then it became evident that a player named that's awful. I'm forgetting his name right now. Starts with an S. Anyways, he killed Crowbar as Crowbar was attempting to self-grief the base so they could like repair it. And the reason why they did that is because they wanted to make like a Moonshine griefing montage of griefing that base. And since we had beef with Moonshine, I had an account logged out there. It was actually Bobbers22 that was like, Paul, you have to log in and blow it up yourself right now.
That's so base. Bobbers is the coolest.
I felt like that was a very just decision at the time. I was like, we're screwing over our enemy group. We're not letting them get the clout for it. and I can do like a good grief without like mutilating the whole build, blah blah blah. And this is like me justifying it in my head, but I don't. As Crowbar was so unattached to like the LARP and the lore of our relationship with Moonshine and like what they were trying to achieve and what we were trying to achieve, I don't think he really like understood that. He was just like, well, I hope you left good ruins. And that was like the only conversation that I had with Crowbar about it. But
because you were the one that griefed it instead of
yeah, there wasn't like a whole
Yeah.
lot of like me defending it from XYZ in his head. I don't think. I explained it to him, but I don't expect him to totally understand that whole bit. But it was a special moment for sure. Finding it with Durka, just being there and griefing it was all very special. So
Hell yeah.
there's
I
a story of that.
actually somehow forgot that I know Durka found it. I knew that some of y'all self-griefed it, but I actually didn't know that you were there.
Yeah, it was literally just me on my Paper Robber 9000 alt account.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
Anybody that's curious what the bridge looks like, you can find it on the archive.world. That's Turban's archive server. It's an amazing spot.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
most soul
beautiful.
faces are on there. You can just log on anytime. It's free.
I don't know. If you're hunting something and you find some, like at Baron Dome's and Nexus, you had the books. What are some of the coolest souvenirs you've taken along the way?
Ooh, coolest souvenirs. So one souvenir that I have that I'm really proud of that isn't really a base hunting find, but I acquired this at Spawn, was a book signed to me from the account 2b, like just like the two character name. And
that's hype.
I was able to snag a book from this guy right before he became a major asshole. I don't think he knew how like lucrative his account name was. Like I knew he knew it was cool, but only after me did he start like bartering mass amounts of dubs from people in order to get a signed book from him. And so I was thankful to get that early. Yeah, he turned real quick and was like, if you don't give me 4 dubs, like forget it. I'm not gonna sign you shit. Yeah.
Wow.
Another fun little journey book. This was on the Diag Highway. I think it was Neg Neg. A couple years back now. I'm on my main, so I have the book on me. It was a book signed by Zero Neb.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
wow.
iconic.
And
Here,
What
he
did he
was
tell you about the JFK assassination?
well.
Did he write the secrets?
You're about to
in
find
there?
out.
Shit.
So
Shit.
I saw him on the highway and he was naked with a pickaxe. That's it. Or no, I think he was just naked without a pickaxe. I think he was asking me for a pickaxe. I'm like, what are you doing all the way out here, like asking for items, bro? What the hell's going on? And you mind if I just read the book?
Please.
So this was on I think it was April 2nd, 2022. Today marks a new day on 2b2tea for Zero Neb. She goes to a stash and re-gears before making the long trek to the Netherworld border to enact a plan of revenge. Afterwards, she will fly to the Sky Masons and blackmail the Spawn Masons to join their group, reorganizing her rule and reign on 2b2tea's elite. Not LARP. But what is LARP is the she-her pronouns. But let's keep it that way. Do you have a pickaxe to spare? This is how poor I am. And the name of the book is called Future Plans for 2022.
Oh.
I just think it's so funny. It's like, because like Zero Neb was obsessed with the Sky Masons at that time.
Yeah.
And I just think that's so funny.
What a moment in time.
I know, right? Other stuff. Ooh, another big one. So like, I'll just say I have probably like I have 50 dubs of items that are all like unique, or books or banners, stuff that are like special to me. You know, I love like just a LARP one-off wooden sword that's renamed like Zombie Bros Slinger that I just find at like some vanilla base. Like stuff like that I love. I cherish those things. But one thing that I got at the Acheron Goodwill stash base.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's like the stash that's renowned for Jake the Snake finding it, 16k dubs, the biggest stash I've ever even heard of on the server. Thing was only like 1 million out. And after the chords were accidentally leaked by, I believe, Redstoner, way back in the day when I was kind of still early hunting, I went out there thinking that I wouldn't find anything, maybe just like some scraps around. I was just more fascinated by the fact that it was such a historical base. But I went down there and I just started digging around in dungeons, and I found a full shulk of original books, all written by Tanaxis.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And like some of them had obfuscated text on the titles, which are now reverted. And that is like one of my pride and joys right there. Just really old Tanaxis books stowed away.
That's so cool. I play League of Legends with Tanaxis sometimes.
Is he good?
Shout out to Tanaxis. He's really good. Yeah, he's really good.
Who does he mean?
No, we play ARAM, so it's all random.
Love ARAM. That's all I play too.
Oh my god, do you want to play with us?
Yeah.
Do you have a EU account?
Nope.
You should level up an EU account.
All right, bet.
And then maybe somebody else can get fucking destroyed by entropy for being bad. Are you good?
I'm great.
Shit.
I think I'm. Oh, I thought you were asking me like in real life if I was good because I was fiddling with this chair. I'm using it as like a.
Oh no.
Me, League of Legends, great. I main Singed. So.
Oh. Okay, that's actually useful for us.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to move on.
Yeah. This is my last question.
So hard.
Last question.
I'll
try to keep it short and sweet.
I love it. No.
So earlier, Meg so rudely butted in about the Hunters Union, and we had a big yap discussion about, how the hunting market is pretty saturated. So how do you think that like hunting will evolve in the future, given, the Hunters Union, whoever can get the most posts in the hunting finds is the best hunter. How do you think that will keep evolving?
Well, I think that a lot of I think that the direction that base hunting goes is going to be totally contingent on whether or not a dupe eventually comes around. I think it'll become way less saturated at that point if a dupe does come around. I think a lot of people will get like the wealth that they've always wanted and then quit the server or just stop hunting in general. But if things stay the same way that they have been, what I've recognized is just genuinely there's always going to be some like new kids on the block that are either super lucky or super good that you just don't expect. Like us in the Journeymen, I still go hard. But as a group, our glory days were kind of in those like earlier 2020 times, 2021, 22, 23. Nowadays, there's this new Chinese base hunter guy named Dadu.
Yes.
I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yes.
He's scary.
Pyro King.
And Visions of Red is scary.
Crimson Stream.
Yeah, those IRS guys,
Swisher Surgeon?
Yeah, but the thing is that like I guess Swisher's kind of been around for a bit. But you're seeing names that you've never heard, like no names come out the woodwork and back to back posting multiple hundreds of dubs finds. And I guess back in like 2020, 2021, a few hundred dubs here or there was more regular. But nowadays, those types, like stashes that break 100 dubs, even that are pretty rare. And so to see people like that just come out, I feel like there's always just going to be a new guy comes along and is cracked. And so that's kind of scary. It's kind of scary.
Are we washed?
Right.
Next question.
Oh, that's a low blow.
No, I feel washed too. Fuck it, I've been hunting hours every night. I'm hunting right now, and I haven't found shit, so I feel washed. I just have an AFK pod going.
And that's another thing, thinking about like AFK hunting, but then you're also seeing these new people come out and finding crazy stashes. Is like, and as I want to maintain the longevity of my platform as a base hunting streamer, I have to put in extra effort to kind of keep up with the meta and the times. And now that AFK hunting and spiraling has become a lot more meta, we're seeing a lot of hate of it from general hunters, because it's like, okay, you're just getting spoon-fed these things, But the trick of it all is you have to stay with the meta, you have to stick with the times.
Yeah.
And you also have to like know pattern recognition and be able to read trails. And so it's not necessarily easier. You just have way more tools at your disposal. And if you're only AFKing, or you're like refusing to do the AFK spiraling, then you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot both ways. You have to kind of take advantage of all the tools at your disposal as they come about, even if it is intimidating. So that's my spiel. That's me coping about being washed. Next question.
So, that's about all I've got. I've yapped for an hour now, so
that's so fair. Godroster can take it away. We'll skip the smooth transitions we had planned.
Oh, they were really nice though. You should have heard them. The top notch.
We can still do ours.
Thank you, Lukent.
Thank you, Paul.
Well, I mean, most of you guys know that Paul Steve is a streamer. He's probably one of the top 2B streamers, I would say, right now. If you're watching this, chances are you're already following. When exactly did you start streaming?
When exactly did I start streaming? Wait, that's a good question.
To the minute, please.
Yeah. 1 second. Let me just research my own YouTube channel.
I mean, I looked up your stream for your intro, and it said since July 2021, July 30th, I think.
Boom.
Or 20th.
That's it. That's it. 2021. Yeah, but I wasn't saving VODs for like the first year of me streaming, so a lot of that has been lost to time. But
lost media. Paul Steve lost media.
Yeah, no, it's part of my empire now.
Nice, I love it. You can get a new YouTube series on it.
Right.
Well, I think that, I mean, the streaming questions are really just a build up for me to ask about the ants. So what's going on? What's going on with the ants? Yeah, let's just get that out in the open.
If I remember correctly, the whole ant inside joke originated with Big Greasy Egg. I think the majority of all inside jokes to ever exist on 2b2tea, it's like Big Greasy Egg is the core somehow, some way. And as far as the ants thing go, I think that he was just up in my stream harassing me like he always did and still does. Just being like, Paul, you look like you have bugs under your skin or something, and this, that, and the other. And it eventually like turned into like a rumor that I ate ants. I think I actually told a story from my childhood when, like, you know, you're a kid and you're fucking around with bugs. Like, I love doing that.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, I wonder. Google is freaking out.
Yeah, I heard that.
I'm like, I'm like, what if I took an M&M and I took this ant and I ate them together just like chocolate covered ants that you see at the store? That could be great. So I told that story, and it spiraled out into being like, yeah, Paul eats ants. Paul eats ants. And then eventually I'd like run into Spacebar on stream, and he'd give me like a stack of bread loaves that are just named ants. And then he'd give me like melon seeds and name them ants. And so that it kind of spiraled out of control. To the point where I was at a curiosity shop, like a curios bazaar type shop, in one of the towns nearby where I live. And I saw that they had edible ants there, just like in a pack. So I was like, okay, this would be funny for stream. This will be funny. So I ended up buying them, and I ended up making a point reward system for it. So if you spend like 69,000 points, then I'll eat ants. And now it's a stupid thing I have to upkeep and buy more ants. The current ones I have are expired.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, yeah. You don't want to eat those past the Best Buy date.
And I have. Sometimes they twist my arm and they make me anyway. That's pretty much it. I've had to learn to set my boundaries on back in the day. I used to have like no boundaries. But people used to redeem hydrate like over and over and over because it's hella cheap, and I would just like drink so much water to the point where I get sick to my stomach because I thought I had to. I've grown up. I've grown up since then. So.
Do you still eat ants on your stream?
Yeah, and if I have a fresh pack of ants, then I'm more liable to actually do it when they redeem the points. But nowadays, I'm just like, don't redeem those points, bro, because they're expired. I'm not going to eat them. So
That's so fair.
Today I learned ants have an expiration date.
Yeah, right.
Well, the other big stream thing that people were talking about, I think it was earlier this year, was the suspension that happened on Twitch, and how you ended up having to switch over to YouTube, and then it turned into kind of like a multi-streaming type situation. What exactly happened there?
So, in regards to Twitch, it is a massive platform. And so for me, facing just random fuck ass kids coming along and just mass reporting my channel, it is there's not much defense to that. Because so that's exactly what happened. It was just, I don't know if it was one person, a group of people. They never came out and gave their like identity or who they really are. It was always like brand new Discord accounts that would hop into my Discord after the fact, being like, "Hey, Paulsteve, it's us, 5C, and we just nuked your whole Twitch, and now we're going after every other Twitch streamer. Have fun out there." And like, I'm pretty chill with like Bezo, Orson, and Kit more than the others. So I immediately like wrapped them up into a group chat, and I was like, "Are you guys serious right now? Like, is this actually happening or what?" And they, I mean, to be kind of skeptical, maybe they were aware. Maybe it was actually them. But they seemed pretty, they had no idea what was really going on. And plus, those same people that were like repping 5C, at another point, they were repping BSB. At another point, they were repping VEA, saying it was VEA doing it. So since they were so wishy-washy about it, I'm like, whatever. I am just going to lay low. And it was definitely... It's like, it sucks because it can just be some like random low life kid that has nothing better to do, but it's doing like financial damage, and it's like, it's my creative passion too. So it's like, it really sucks that there's not better defense on Twitch's side of things, because they're so cut and dry about being like, hack clients, can't use it. Multiplayer, get fucked.
Yeah, they're like a shoot first, ask questions later kind of situation.
Yeah, and then when they ask questions, it's really just a robot that's reading your stuff. Like, it's not even a real person.
Yeah.
So, it felt bad during all that going on, but I tried to turn it into a positive thing. So I started like really working on YouTube videos after that. I decided to start doing multi-platform streaming after that, and that was a big growth spurt in my content creation at the end of it all. I was doing Kick for a little bit. Now I've kind of stopped using Kick because I switched over from Streamlabs to OBS, which I can only do 2 platforms on unless I pay money. But overall, in lieu of it all, even though it sucked in the moment, I did put effort to make some sort of silver lining, and now it's great. It's great that I have more presence on both my YouTube and Twitch. Also, what's awesome about YouTube streaming is it saves all of your VOD. There's not like a delete time period thing. So
Yes.
overall, it sucked in the moment, but I'm grateful for where I am now. So yeah.
That's good to hear. Yeah, you were kind of the canary in the coal mine for other streamers when that happened. As we hear, Paul Steve got banned, and all the other streamers are thinking, like, man, he did nothing and got banned. We're doing the same thing. It can potentially just happen to any of us. And it actually did happen to a few different streamers after that. So everybody's
Yeah.
kind of been on pins and needles ever since then.
Yeah. And it hasn't happened again since. I don't know if this is exactly the reason. I don't know. I think that it was just because there was evidence of clients being used on my stream, but I know that some people say that it could have been me promoting paid clients like Rusher or Future, which I don't do. I don't promote them, but I do bring them up. So nowadays I bring them up less. I pretty much just bring up Meteor. Just like, get Meteor, it's a good free client, and then I just keep going on my own thing.
Yeah, it makes sense. Probably the safe bet. But
Yeah.
speaking of the people that are watching and stuff, it almost seems like you have this cult-like following over on Twitch and 2B and everything else. And, even most recently with the census, I saw your name, the 2b2tea census that was conducted by Joey Coconut and a handful of people. Paul Steve was at the top of like a number of different categories. I think most popular player or something like that. School,
Oh yeah.
the yearbook superlatives.
Yeah. I won the popularity contest. Um, I am very thankful to like have a space where I can pursue my creative endeavors and have support from people, you know. Um, like deep down as a kid, I always wanted to be I wanted to be like a pirate. I wanted to be a sky pirate like in the Final Fantasy games. You know, I was just like a little gamer kid on my PS1, getting lost in that world when like other stuff in life is kind of like not as enjoyable, you know. Um, and so I get to live out my childhood dream in the sense of being like a real life sky pirate on 2b2t. And in addition to that, I found myself in a space that is occupied by others who have gravitated to this server for a plethora of different reasons. And it's not for everybody. And I feel like in a lot of ways, this server, and I think Anarchy Minecraft in general, is conceptually, in my mind, similar to a island of misfit toys. You know, a lot of people just end up here on their own. And so being able to maybe talk with those people about their interests, hopefully inspire some people and make friends in this space that it's like it's just a good medium for all of us and all of our social endeavors. It's a really special picture overall. And it's not just like block game items, blah blah blah. There's just like real life people behind all those things. So the whole image of all of that is just really special, and I'm really thankful to be there. And I think that having that fire inside me is a big piece of, I don't know, why people might rock with it and enjoy it and the content that they make. So,
Yeah, and it's 2B is kind of like this weird melting pot, and beyond the block game stuff, there's a whole lot of different connections you can make. That's what's kind of really cool about the server. So it all started as like an escape thing then for you.
yeah, for sure.
That's pretty awesome. The uh the thing about your stream that intrigues me is that you have your you have your hands on a lot of different things. You're in a lot of different groups and you participate with a lot of different groups, and you're actually a leader of a handful of them, as you mentioned earlier.
Mm.
It is so hard to try to stay neutral when you do streaming stuff, when people bring up names and everything else, without, this person's how do you manage to stay neutral through all of it?
Um, there's definitely there's always something. There's always some drama. There's always some allegation of different individuals. Overall, I try to meet everybody I interact with a level of respect. And in like in my personal life, something I've kind of always struggled with in different ways is boundaries, and that is something I've become better at over time in my life. But it definitely translates into this scene as well. When if people are like hitting me up saying like you're associated with this person because you traded so and so with them, and now they just did this, and so you're fucked up for that, and da 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 da. I just ignore it completely. I don't have the enough space in my brain to engage in too much drama.
You gotta
Unless
just
it's just like
ignore it,
LARP.
dude.
You got
No, I
to.
can't. I can't. It's so funny. It's so cute. It's just sorry.
It's also like it's like stop for 1 second and look at the world and look at yourself and get real. Like that's what I want to say to all these people, but yeah, just ignore them.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the best way to do it. Yeah, it's tricky. And you mentioned earlier about how the hunting scene has kind of become saturated with how easy it is to do the hunting and everything else. But,
Yeah.
The 2b2tea streaming, current state of it is incredibly saturated. When compared to when you started back in 2021, there are
Oh yeah.
just so many new streamers.
Oh
What's
yeah.
how is it different now than it was back then?
Well, one thing that is really fascinating to me is like since I've been doing it for a while now, since it was pretty much just me and Branch in the mix and like maybe Fast Vincent and a Blue Moon or something, is a lot of people join 2b2t to stream nowadays. And it makes their whole experience often a lot more fickle. Whereas like I've seen so many people do it. I mean like so like Dusty Nutsack, Dusty Nutballin.
Mhm.
Love him. But he really like he didn't join 2B and then started streaming. He might be a cool opportunity to do it on 2B. And there's just a lot of people that do that, and they often come and go relatively fast. Huge shout out to like my current friends in that streaming space, like Blue and Seth Quest and the like, and my like Fart Clan friends. I hope that they
Nice.
stick around for a while because I really like them.
Oh yeah, I rep Fart Clan, absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
What is
Um,
Fart Clan? I have no idea what is I know it's like Blue Eyes, right?
Plug.
I have I don't know. I'm not in the mix like that. I'm not cool like that.
Origins of Fart Clan kind of go a little bit before. So it's T Black and Blue Eyes are like the top two. And T Black, we see him in stream. In game,
Yeah.
it's Fiori or FXORI.
Oh, okay.
They founded it, but before it was even actually a group, I just saw accounts like Fart Ripper and Trent Fart online.
Okay.
And so I was like, "What's up, fart group?" And I don't like. I'm just saying this in 2B chat. So it was nothing. It wasn't really a thing, but it was a little bit of an idea before they came along. And those two are pretty active in my stream. I'm active in Blue's stream, and we kind of just like did LARP stuff anyway on 2B. But after I mentioned it on stream and they liked the idea of it, they like made it a real thing. And it is now just a super chill group of adults making fart jokes on Discord.
I think that, yeah,
That's awesome.
I think that that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, beyond, Fart Clan, you're in a whole bunch of different groups, like SBA, Journeymen, and you mentioned some of them earlier, even the. But I'm gonna let Meg talk to you about that. Meg knows a lot more about that kind of stuff than I do.
Sure.
Dear Paul Steve, I have one question for you. Is the Journeyman 10K real?
This is not about SBA. Next question.
Hey. Is it real?
It's dwindled. It's dwindled.
But it was real.
It is real. It was real. But like Bobbers, not really so active anymore. Malik, not as active as he was. A lot of like the OGs and the Journeymen don't really participate much in the server, but they will still keep an eye out on the book collectors Discord. And if there's a sale to be had, they'll engage with that. And so since they're not really hunting and using a lot of these materials, that's basically where these materials are slowly getting drained out to. It's just trades from them.
Trades are great. I kind of like, I do have questions about SBA, but since we're talking about the Journeyman now, like, how was the Journeyman conceived? I've heard a lot of different versions of this story.
Oh, man.
I know a little bit about SBA's origin, which I will ask you about as well, but I'm curious about the origins of Journeyman, like how it was then, like that hype, those golden years, and like where we're at now, because I think it's a real conversation. I mean, I'm in there as well, so I've got a little bit of insight, but I'm kind of curious. I know, and it's like it's still active.
I am going to preface this by saying, Big Greasy Egg, I know you're watching this right now, and I'm so sorry for the itty bitty tiny details I'm about to get wrong, because if he was here in this call right now, he would just zip my lips shut and he would tell the whole thing. Because every time I've tried to explain it, he's like, nope, you got that part wrong. You got that part.
I know, but first of all, like, he's probably up, but there's no way.
Yeah, no, there's no way. Maybe someday. Imagine you get egg.
Well, like,
Holy
literally, like,
shit.
You can ask him, give him 2 minutes. If he doesn't respond, like, I would love to get the story. I know he won't. I know he will not VC, but it would be amazing.
Maybe by the time this gets published, I might be able to get like a follow-up from him. If there's any details that I miss, I can just send you screenshots. You can plug them in. But
please, we will insert.
So, Journeymen, the base hunting group, obviously came along after the creation of SBA, and these like golden years of base hunting that I often refer to also kind of like were definitely more so around before the creation of the Journeyman Discord as well. Maybe like after the creation of the Journeyman Discord, did the golden years continue for a little bit longer? But when we created it, it kind of ended soon after that. But the Journeyman Discord was not originally called the Journeyman. It was originally called 2b2tea, and it was created by Bobbers because he didn't want to. He wanted to VC with 2b2tea friends, but he didn't want to talk to everybody in SBA. So the creation of that Discord initially kind of drove a sort of division from people who knew about it, but also weren't in that Discord. And like, I don't know. I was still kind of jumping around in VCs at that point. But there were definitely some hurt feelings about it. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's Bobber's experience playing 2B. It's his voice group. He can invite who he wants. But essentially, it was just like, while the majority of his friends were in SBA, that group was majoritively SBA members, just minus some people he didn't want to talk to so much. And so yeah, that was the creation of that Discord. Then eventually we were like, oh, okay, this is like, now that we're looking at the members, this is mostly just like the hunters of SBA and plus a couple other people. So let's start like posting our base hunting finds in here and make like a cool portfolio with it. And they're like, while we're at it, might as well come up with a name for a group. And it took us a literal year of time to like actually agree on a name for our base hunting group. So even though it was like it was us, this group of friends that had been hunting for SBA for a while, we didn't really have a name. And eventually, after a year, we agreed on Journeymen and started doing branded stuff after that. And it took us like a whole other like 6 months to come up with a banner.
Whose idea was Journeyman? Like who
was the one that brought up Journeyman?
Suggestion? Yeah.
Whose suggestion was Journeyman? I have no idea.
I definitely feel like Egg would say it was his.
No way. No way it's Egg. No way it was Egg. I'm going to say like maybe it was Bob, maybe it was me. That's what I'm going to say.
So that first like formation, like obviously it was 2b2tea. You just had like some people, but when you ended up deciding like, okay, this is the group, this is the Journeyman. Like I know it as the four of you, like Malik, Egg, Bob, and you.
Yeah.
Was there anybody else sort of involved in those like early days that's maybe not around, or was it always you guys just being very close? And like, how was that?
It was always just, I mean, it is what's what I'm looking for? There's not contingencies. It's just more complicated than that.
Well, like it's not like a solid line. It was like
right. I will say that you're right with like me, Malik, Bob, Egg. We're like the tightest circle from like beginning to end of like its creation to like today. But like Davey was really prevalent for a while, and he doesn't play so much. He doesn't really play at all nowadays, but he was a big piece of that for a good bit. And like Simon and the rest of the ancients, with like Eternal in the mix, them that were some like really close the co-conspirators. I don't know what to say. But then like even before that time period and before that VC even came about, and we're just thinking of other hunters, like Bryce has done his good deal of hunting. Dan Ducky has some crazy finds under their belt. Yeah, but at the end of the day, that's like the thick four. And then after a while, we kind of took Jackafa under our wing, and then a bit after that, we took Jaws under our wing, and those are like the other two top Gs that have kind of become interlooped with us for the most part.
Was it more of like a public group that turned private? So I know Journeyman's like decently difficult to get into. You basically need to post like a 600 plus stub stash on Hunters Union.
Yeah, right.
It feels like these days. I know it's not as active, but was it more public in the past, or has it always been like? Because I know we talked about gatekeeping earlier, and I think that these like small hunter groups that just like share information within like a closed circle, like usually are the ones that have like the bigger finds. So I'm wondering if it like changed over the years, or have you always just been like more close?
Yeah, I mean, in the initial inception of the group before it became the Journeymen, it was bobbers being like, 2b2tea VC, anybody who you guys think is chill to talk to in VC, go ahead and invite them. And that was just like the baseline rule of the server. But then once we rebranded into our actual base hunting group, then me, Egg, Malik, Jack, and like Jaws usually didn't have a whole lot to say in this department, but somebody always would have something to say about this new person that was invited. Jack being like,
Mhm.
"Oh hell no!" Like I had beef with him because of XYZ, or Malik being like, "Oh no, this kid is in the book collectors." Da, 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 da. And due to like just that, it's and because like Bob doesn't really even VC anymore so much,
Yeah.
and so like overall, it depends on the day. Some days Malik and Jack will be like, "Nah, I've heard this kid is annoying. I see him in the Hunters Discord. We're not going to invite him in the." Other days, they're like, "Yeah, we're going to expand our base hunting repertoire and just invite some new gen
I
hunters and try a new thing." Like it just changes, to be honest.
yeah. I've definitely noticed that. I feel like with the invites, it's like it comes in waves more so than it is like solid, I think,
Yeah,
flow based on like who's coming up.
yeah, it's kind of
But I think that
silly,
that's fair.
and like it's not the most active server, but like it's a good place, especially in the higher up channels with the more trusted and general members. I can like share stuff, like I said earlier, like has anybody hunted this trail type deal.
Yeah.
And so it's useful in that manner. But as far as just like LARP engagement with 2B people, I spend most of my time in the Fart Clan.
I think that that's fair. I think that groups kind of change over time and become more or less active, especially with the Hunters Union stuff. I think that these smaller groups are just more like niche friends in group chats more than anything these
Yeah,
days.
exactly.
But I guess to talk a little bit more about like SBA,
Yeah.
which we were both a part of for a while, which
Mm-hmm.
has been so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you remember about like the formation? Like, you talked a little bit earlier about meeting Ducky and Bryce at Spawn, but
Yeah.
like, can you talk about like the startup, the origin story, how it all began? SBA's
Yeah.
yeah, one of the longer term groups at this point. I think that's still relatively active.
I even though I took a step back in leadership terms a while ago, and I have had a great hiatus as far as activity in that server. It's still something I am always proud of, no matter what. Um, just
I've
just to
seen
be a
you
part of.
at the base recently, and that made me really happy to see your name
Yeah,
pop up on the proxy.
last two bases I've come along and visited, so I'm slowly inching my way back in that scene a bit more. Um, but it's just so mind blowing and special to think about how much has conspired since its creation. And I think that probably anybody who's like part of founding a group that's still active to this day will feel similarly. Like it's just a really cool feeling.
SBA is
Um,
certainly one of the most well-known groups on the server.
yeah, yeah, and I know initially I just thought it was so cool to be like, I'm hunting and I'm not a good builder. I'm not a good builder, so I can work together with builders. And then we're building close to spawn, and so other people will find it and they'll think it's cool, and then they'll join, and it's just gonna grow and it's gonna be awesome. That's really just like exactly how it went too. Um, but yeah, so like I met Ducky and Bryce and a couple others at Spawn, and then we made that Discord just in case a dupe came about, and eventually we were like, this whole like finding each other at Spawn thing was awesome. Let's make another one. And we just made one, and there's so like I'm probably, as far as like individual bits of lore for each early SBA, I'm not gonna get into all of the nitty gritty of each one, but like each one has its story, and like I was like some random that we found, and they started out real chill, and they started like mining stuff up behind our backs, and then we would like do a psyop, see if they're actually trying to grief us, and it was just like the we were just getting insight. Like I don't know, inciting in SBA has always been a thing, but it was just so much fun in the early days because it was so low stake, and
Yeah.
it was just all so much LARP, so much fun. Um, and Yeah.
Well, I guess like to that point, do you like I don't know, I'm like more new gen, especially in SBA being like an
Mm.
overseer. I still find inciting an SBA like a very fun detective mission. It might seem like I'm constantly crashing out, but I think it's
Right.
funny. I do think it's like so silly to inside a group that like thrives on like new bases. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
It
totally.
already
It's
like
such a beautiful equation.
it
You know,
is.
like it just gives us an excuse to make a new one and like start something fresh, which is always like one of the most fun parts.
It's like the side of the Oscars too that I really like is you get the builder categories and you get the griefer categories. And this year we've got like all the leaders in a Discord. And I'm like, we're all part of the same cycle. And like that's why you get to
Hmm.
make new stuff. And I think in SBA where like new friends are coming in and out, it's really cool to get these new bases and to try new people out and like to see what works in the mix. And I
Yep.
guess like that's another thing is like, do you have any like super core memories of SBA that are like these are like the top for me moments in SBA?
Oh my goodness. So like countless, countless amounts.
Please regale us with
Just,
some tales.
I mean, like another OG was code EV or EV code. I forget exactly how to say it. And like in the early days of SBA, their whole thing was making lag machines. And so they would just build them at like our spawn base. And like that was just like their quirk. And then obviously we had X Gamer. And like in that one there's so much to say about X Gamer. A couple of problematic
hard,
videos.
hard agree.
Yeah, but like still have love for X Gamer for sure. But like during the armor dupe, you know, the armor dupe was big at the Nether SBA, and so he like duped a crap ton of armor at SBA, and then he moved it like 2,000 blocks away, and he called it his main stash. And I was just like, "That's awesome, bro!" Like
All right.
noted for that. And man, just in like the different insiders. I remember like SBA 8 was such a big, monumentous base for us at the time, like by far the biggest one that we had made. If we look back now, it still just looks like some like child's play compared to ones that we've made since. Um, and then like I don't know, like Fiddlesticks 98 is such a historical op, but like since it's so long and deep in the lore, like I have a positive affinity towards that player nowadays because it's like, oh man, if I see Fiddlesticks around, like I'm gonna talk shit to them. Like shout out that guy, bro, because he's
Right.
been around.
Old enemy kind of thing.
Yeah, like there's something cool about that.
Yeah.
And like I mean, another thing is the whole Goldsdom grief situation. Is one of the most prevalent core memories of SBA. Um, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about this, but he was essentially like a new player, clearly young, and so we're not like the most trusty with this person. But one day, Dan Ducky was streaming the base, or Ducky was streaming the base in SBAVC, and then they got pearled to the stash and didn't realize that they were streaming still, so they ended it really fast. And but Goldsdom was the one person watching that, and so like Goldsdom is messaging us, being like, "Hey, so I don't have much stuff. Like, can I come out?" And I'll just like everybody in Overseer at the time is freaking out, like, "Oh, this is a 500 dub stash. He cannot go. He's gonna ruin the trail. He's gonna do this. He's gonna do this. We can't let him. We can't let him." And I was the one person advocating them, being like, maybe if we meet this player with like some positivity and gentleness, then it'll be reflected in how they treat the stash and da da da. So like I vouched for Goldsdom. I helped them get there. I made sure they closed the portal on the other side. I taught them how to set pearl, this, that, and the other. And then for some reason, like we didn't move the stash after that. Like I don't know what's going on in dense skulls at that point, but we never ended up moving the stash. And one day he goes, "Hey Paul, can you load me? I'm gonna get some PvP stuff. Yeah, sure. And I loaded them, and I went to go take a shower. I come out of the shower, and I have like SBA being like, "Yo, the stash is gone." He just blew it up, streaming it in SBA. And so that was like the biggest stab in the back at that point. It's like, man, I
Oh
really
my
tried
God.
to,
Goodness.
and plus it was all like my stuff. Like it was like all stuff that I
Wow.
had found and donated to the group, and I was like the one person advocating for this player and blah blah blah
Oh
blah.
no.
Yeah, betrayal is like a rite of passage on 2b2tea.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's a fun memory looking back now, but at the time it was so bad, bro. It was so bad.
Oh,
But like, man, so many memories. Just little tidbits here and there. Like Egg stream sniping people around spawn because he was just hanging out at the base, and then you see him on stream and he's just like harassing Jake the Snake or something. Or it just so much. So the Grego gear. The Grego gear of it all.
Mm.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
Gregmas.
Greg's miss, the the build event, the whole
Yep.
relation Dima once they came into the mix.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So much. LAAR being like our number one insider through like 7 bases, RNTZ, the truly base grief with me and Ducky that's like featured on my YouTube channel, like Revenge Grief.
The Terracotta Wars.
The
oh
Terracotta Wars.
yeah.
Like
Our-
Lucan was involved in the Terracotta
Yes.
Wars,
The
and it's so funny. He's in SBA now.
dude, yeah, the Terracotta Wars and
I'm
like the
sliding.
LARP Town like journal
Yes.
getting stolen and that being like the crucible of the whole war. Oh my goodness. And then LARP Vegas, which was like Pasto's end like base dream, came about right before the boat TP came about. And so the first time we ever even beholded the boat TP was bringing Malik out there to LARP Vegas. And man, it's all just within this storyline of SBA. So much. That's what I have to say about that.
Wow.
It's such a storied group. I feel like even you come into it now and you don't even get half the inside jokes.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I feel like it's such a unique piece. I don't know.
Okay, two more pieces, and then I'm gonna get off
Yes.
my soapbox.
Please.
One,
I love it.
the so like talking about Ducky's stash finds are hilarious. So I mean, there was a Dawn Fear stash find
Yeah.
of theirs, and I remember they posted something so LARP in the book collectors Discord, just kind of trolling everybody in there. And they specifically said, "I was just walking around on the ringworm," and then they used a worm emoji, and he was talking about the ring road, or she was talking about the
I remember
ring
that.
road, but they called it a ring worm. Anyways, super funny, super funny. But then the Hermes stash situation is always gonna. I'm gonna. That's gonna be a core memory for the rest of my life. They were base hunting, 10 mil out, and they just decide to get off the highway somewhere random, seems kind of wide. They throw down a portal, perfect portal skip, straight into Hermes' shop stash, and Ducky's just walking around and quote unquote sees a naked player right in. And so me, Bob, and Egg just get right in VC. I don't think Malik was so much in the mix. And Ducky's like, yeah, this guy was just sitting here. I don't know what's going on. Like, he seems AFK and he's naked and I'm 10 mil out. We're like, bro, are you dumb? You're at a stash right now. Like, keep walking around. And as he kept walking around, that same player just kept on appearing in front of Ducky. And we're like, dude, what are you doing? Because Ducky's just walking at this point. And then Ducky finally gets a whisper from the account saying, please stop. You're loading all my pearls. Which Ducky didn't even understand that it was just pearls at that time. It ended up being like 200 plus dubs of like build mats and good stuff for
wow.
SBA. And at this point, Ducky pulls up on the actual stash. It's us three in VC screaming our heads off, all saying different things, being like, break his bed, blow this up, take this. No, don't do that. Like negotiate with them. And it was just, I know it was sensory over for Ducky, who then proceeded to open up a kit, just take out an axe, no armor, no gaps, no totems, just an axe, and start walking towards this naked account. Not even running, just walking towards an axe and swinging it at the air. And that gave this Hermes shop dude enough time to just run around, grab some armor from this kit, grab some crystals from this kit, and it was so bad. It was so bad. It ended up turning into a fight, where Ducky died, but luckily she had a bed nearby.
I love the fact that Ducky usually got so lucky, because that's something I've heard for a while, was she didn't know what she was doing. She was just out there like doing her best and would just like appear into stashes and like out of nowhere, like not even
just
trying.
Mind-blowing.
Lucky
Mind-blowing.
Ducky. I like
So
it.
funny. So funny. Yeah, and then Tonepah. But we can get into that later.
Tonepah couldn't make it today, so thank you for filling in.
Yeah.
Hopefully next week. We'll see.
No problem.
Dude.
You should get Malik on here sometime. That'd be kind of fun.
I would love to have the king himself on, for sure.
Malik would have some good Tonepah lore, for sure.
I get DM'd by people being like, what is Tonepah? What does tone mean? Like more often than you'd think.
It's crazy.
I think it's one of the things that will carry on forever.
Yeah, like the trifecta of SBA is like Bep, Tone, and Kev.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true. Oh, okay, I love that. Yeah. I guess the kind of like thing with SBA that I love is, I don't know, lately I've been feeling like there's not a lot of building groups to contrast with the amount of hunters that are out there. And I do agree with your point about like the 2B economy. The other day somebody was asking like, oh, what's some new like groups that I could join if I just want to like go building? And it's tough for me to recommend many. I don't know, it feels like things are like so much smaller lately with building groups, with spawn groups. Like, have you noticed that? Do you have any thoughts on, I don't know, where the server's going in that way?
I think the number one detriment to new players that come along and want to build and join a building group is they might unknowingly be signing themselves up to more block game drama and politics than they know. And so like I recommend anybody to come on, just like post in chat. You're looking for some people to build with. Maybe you'll get recruited into a group, but don't get too attached to the drama of it all, because it could bite you in the butt later if you end up wanting to move on to another group and like they get to know more people, because people will be like, oh, this guy built with so and so group, which was led by this guy that we don't like, and so like we're not going to invite him.
Do you think that happens like more these days?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it's probably always happened.
Like a sewing circle.
Yeah, and so like to those new players that find themselves in that position, you just got to keep being a chiller and just being your own person and not like picking sides too much, you know.
I find that there's even like kind of like a lack of new groups popping up in general that are just sort of doing their own thing. Like I feel like when VDA was coming up, especially like during that time, it felt like there was so much more like activity in building groups. And I don't know, I just feel like stuff has changed in that way.
I guess that's not so much on my radar nowadays, but now that you say it, I agree. It's not so much on my radar, and I'm also just not seeing it so much. I mean, the Melon Men is still kind of new. Fart Clan up and coming.
Another Fart Clan shout out.
Yeah. I love that.
But yeah.
Well, I guess
I don't know. Maybe they just don't get so much traction nowadays. Like you'll see people post like, I'm making a group and doing the 29th incursion this weekend, posting
Yeah.
on Reddit. And it just doesn't get much traction. I don't know.
do you think that the server is just changing more with the updates? Like, what do you think about the fact that we've gone through so many updates lately versus like the 1.12 phenomenon?
100%. 100% changing so much. And like one thing that's very different nowadays compared to when I joined in 2020 is just like how crude the server was back in the day. And like chat restriction wasn't so much a thing. And nowadays it is. Even though there's like a bajillion shops that are constantly advertising in chat these days. But
Yeah.
Literally.
I think overall, like people will just see that the who have never played 2B will see that the server updated. They're like, oh, I can play on my normal version. I can just join up. And so many new people are joining, and they're not really harboring that toxicity that the server is so well known for. And so it's become generally, you just have a lot more chill people doing their own thing, going out far, making a mega farm base.
Do you think it's gotten more sanitized in recent years than it
Definitely.
used to be? Yeah.
Gentrified
Definitely.
2b2tea.
It's becoming that good Christian Minecraft server every single day, I feel like.
And there's always going to be toxic people. There's always going to be people there's doxing and threatening real life stuff,
Mhm.
but it's just not as prominent. And the greater community is pretty good at ostracizing people that do stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely a stigma towards those people, and it spreads pretty quick
Yeah.
these days, which is good. I have loved this conversation, and I think now is a good time to wrap up. I have one more question for you, Paulsteve007.
Yep.
Do you have any ghost stories? Do you have any paranormal stories? Do you believe in ghosts?
IRL.
IRL.
Any spooky stories?
Yes, I do have one actually.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Thank God.
And
Wait, turn the lights off. Turn the
It's
lights
a
off.
recent
the lights.
Oh yeah, everybody full bright off.
Yep.
It-
Gotta
it's
get
a
a fire. We
it's
gotta
a
get a
recent
fireplace.
story.
Oh shit, we should have a room. Okay.
We
should
can
have
move.
a
We can
ghost
move
story
rooms.
room. Yes.
Wait, we can just move, no?
Well,
Shit,
are we gonna go down here with the bats?
There's a
No,
bat
hold
over
on.
here.
there-
Let me free cam around the house.
God.
Hold on.
Oh, we can go to this room. It has a skeleton. This is
Ooh,
spooky.
yeah, this is
Okay,
spooky.
we can have this be the ghost story room.
Oh, I love it. Yes. Where's
Yes.
the,
Spooky
Okay.
candle lighting.
can we get a fire going or something?
Yeah,
Right?
just go ahead and just burn the whole place down. I'll start.
No, hold up.
Wait,
We've got
do we have
spooky
a
candles.
campfire? Oh yeah, we got candles.
Spooky candles. Okay.
All right, I think we're good. We'll get a fireplace. We'll up the budget. You know, we might get a second episode. All
Yeah,
right,
we gotta launch the
gather
pilot
around.
first and see what happens.
If the ratings.
I hope
Yeah.
the network picks us up. All right, Paul, hit us. It's spooky.
Okay, so just last month, August, I went on my annual family camping trip. It's this spot you just drive down the coast a little bit, you drive inland for a couple hours, and you are off the grid. There's no phone service. It's really a lovely spot that my family's been going to since like my grandpa was a kid. So it's a special place that we've been camping for a long time. And this year was special because I brought my girlfriend along, and it was the first time I had brought like a guest along on our family camping trip. So it was a really cool like crossover of worlds. And on the second day, my grandma is like, there's a little hike like down this trail, but you like take this little secret trail down the side, and it does a full loop, and it's just a really pretty little walk. We're like, how have we never seen this before? We've been coming here for so many years. Let's do it. And so we take it, and it's a lovely walk. But then at one point, as you like walk along the river, you turn back inland, and it just gets really cold. And there's a lot of what's it called? Devil's beard, like hanging from dead trees, and it like the overhead canopy is just blocking all the sunlight, and it looks like a set for a horror movie. And we're like, okay, this is so cool and creepy. And so my stepdad was like, who wants to come back here like late at night when it's dark? And we were all like, hell yeah, let's do it. We're definitely doing it. So that night, my stepdad comes along, gathers all my siblings. We're all like, our youngest is probably like a sophomore in high school, and I'm going to be the oldest. So it's that kind of range of youngins with the stepdad. I bring my girlfriend along. We take this hike again. And of course, we're all just waiting to get to this spooky part that we really wanted to see at night. And so we turn along the river and we get to this spooky part. And we're all kind of having fun, like turning off all of our flashlights and just enjoying seeing how dark and spooky it is. And at one point, my girlfriend stops because she wants to take a picture. So she takes a picture of like the tree line from where we're at. And then we turn around and our family has walked on without us. And we're kind of expecting them to like jump scare us. And that's exactly what happened. They had kind of all like trickled along the trail and each hid behind a different tree. And first sister to jump out got us pretty good. And we're all laughing and expecting it. But then when we get like closer to the other end of this really dark section of the forest, there is one sister that hasn't popped out and jumped yet. And we're like, okay, any second now. Maybe she's behind us and she's going to get us from behind. Who knows? And as we're like talking about this and still kind of giggling about it all, we hear a noise like 30 feet from us that it wasn't a howl. It was like a type noise. Like it was somebody mimicking our like screams and our laughs. And we were like, we all got silent and we're like, that's not our other sister. She's not going to make a noise like that. And our other sister just ended up being right next to us behind another tree. So across the way, it was something else. It was something else that screamed.
Oh my God, it's a skinwalker.
And all of my sisters genuinely believed that it was a skinwalker that took our last sister, and that the sister that we got back was actually the skinwalker who took her place.
Oh my God.
I think it was like a chupacabra or something. I don't know, but it was terrifying. It was terrifying, and it seemed so close.
Did you have to like walk back down the path?
Yeah, we had to walk right like nearby where it was.
No way.
Even the stepdad was spooked.
Fuck no.
Wow, dude, you're like giving me goosebumps over here.
Yeah, hold on. Meg,
Yeah.
what did you sign us up for?
I know. I had this idea that we would just tell silly ghost stories, but now I'm actually scared.
I wish so bad that we got the recording of it, because it was not like an animal sound. It was like a human sound. Oh man.
Oh, that's
there's my
scary.
No.
Shit.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, Paulsteve.
Let me get the golf clap.
Better than I could have ever expected as far as ghost stories go.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for coming on. I think we're going to wrap up now. We appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your lore.
My pleasure.
And
it's so special to be a part of this, and I hope you guys do many, many more, and that you build an empire off this foundation. Good luck on the edits. And
thank you.
Before I head out, just like even after this conversation, this 2-hour long conversation, there is still just so there's so many other people that I've had really prolific experiences with on the server who've come along on stream that have been really special that I haven't mentioned. And if I didn't name you by name, you know who you are. I appreciate each and every person that I've kind of had all these special interactions with on the server. It's super cool to be a part of. It's like shout out to Mega was taken.
Oh, Mega.
Obviously,
Mega.
shout out to Egg. Everybody that I've mentioned. Dude, shout out to Avril at this point. Shout
Yeah.
shout
Oh
out the
my God.
Masons. Shout out Dima. Shout out everybody. Just shout out.
Oh,
Shout out all you people.
incredible. Incredible. Thank you so much, Paul Steve.
Yay.
That was amazing. Let's
Thank
call
you
her
guys.
done.
Thank you guys.